My name is Katie Burke, and welcome to my 5th book critique. My feature text is Henry's Freedom Box, a true story from the Underground Railroad by Ellen Levin and illustrated by Kadir Nelson. This is a historical fiction book and was awarded the Caldecott Honor Award in 2008. This book is about Henry Brown. Henry is a slave and has never had a birthday because they aren't allowed. Henry and his family worked in a big house for their master, who has always been good to them. After being given to his master's son, he has to leave his family. In Henry's new workplace, he meets a woman who he falls in love with. Together they have a family. After his wife and children are taken away from him, he feels hopeless. A kind man then decides to help Henry escape to freedom. They ship him in a box to Philadelphia, and once he arrives, he is finally free. He finally has a birthday. I chose this book because it teaches students about an important piece of history and helps them understand this time period in a way that they can understand. My first lesson is for a 4th grade social studies class and is based off of a Common Core literary standard, an Ohio State social studies standard, and an ISTE standard. Before reading the book Henry's Freedom Box, a true story from the Underground Railroad by Ellen Levin, the teacher in the class will talk about the pictures on the front cover and what they could mean. The teacher will have introduced slavery to the students beforehand. After the story is read, the class will discuss slavery and the different historical events that took place during this time. As a class, the students will discuss parts of the book that stood out to them or what they thought was important. After discussion, the teacher will tell the students that they are going to write a letter to Henry using Buncee. The teacher will explain that they can talk about what they learned or what the events made them feel, and their last slide will be a birthday card for Henry. After each student finishes their Buncee, the teacher will post each Buncee to Twitter and tag @Buncee to show everyone what they created. Here is an example Buncee and the tweet I tweeted for my class. My second lesson is for a 3rd grade science class and is based off of an Ohio science standard. After the class reads Henry's Freedom Box by Ellen Levin, the teacher will discuss the different types of agriculture that were used and the crops that were planted. As a class, they will discuss the importance of these crops and the needs that the plants have to survive, such as water, soil, and the sun. The students will each get a seed of a different crop grown during this time period. Each student is expected to keep a daily blog of their plant and how they are taking care of it using KidBlog. KidBlog is a great way for students to document and share their experiences in a safe place with a wider audience. After about 2 weeks or so, the students will present their plants and talk about what they did each day to help it grow. Here's an example of my first day KidBlog of my plant. I read 7 other wonderful pieces of children's literature. Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat by Javaca Steptoe, is about young Jean-Michel who loves to draw. He sees art everywhere and remembers it to draw. Jean-Michel created collage-style paintings that were unique to the culture in the 1980s. The Water Princess by Suzanne Verde and illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds is about young Georgie Beadle who grew up in a small African village. The village does not have clean drinking water, so Georgie embarks on a long journey each morning to get to the well. She fills her pot with water and carries it back on her head. She boils the water to purify it for drinking and cleaning and then prepares for the next day's journey. She dreams that her village will have clean water someday. Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo is about Opal and her father, who moved to Naomi, Florida. After a trip to the Winn-Dixie grocery store, Opal finds a dog. She decides to keep the dog and names him Winn-Dixie. Because of Winn-Dixie, everything changes. Not only does Opal make some unlikely friends, but also learns more about her mother and forgiveness. The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen and illustrated by Jerry Panicki is about the little duckling who doesn't quite fit in. While being made fun of by the other ducklings, his mother tries to defend him. In a bit of chaos, the little duckling wanders off and looks everywhere for his family of where he belongs. Once he finds a new pond, he realizes that he is a special kind of bird, a beautiful swan. Strega Nona by Tommy DePaula is about an old woman named Strega Nona who has a special pot. This magic pot can do many wondrous things. After she leaves it with her assistant, Big Anthony, he is determined to show the town what the pot can do. My Brother Charlie by Holly and Ryan Peete and illustrated by Shane W. Evans is about Charlie and Callie. Charlie and Callie are twins, and they have many similarities and differences. Charlie acts a lot like a boy, except he has autism. This makes things a little difficult, and sometimes it's hard for Callie to understand. However, Callie wouldn't change a thing. Charlie teaches Callie the most important lesson of all, how to love. Crown, an Ode to the Fresh Cut by Derek Barnes and illustrated by Gordon C. James, is about a magical place known as the barbershop. Boys are made to look like royalty, and everything changes for them. They have a new swag where anything is possible. Low grades turn to A's, and the girls cannot look away with the new fresh cuts the boys have. Thank you for watching my 5th book critique.